This coming up Sunday, I'm going to be asking the question to our church, why should we love our enemies? But just really quickly today, I want to ask, how can we love our enemies? What should we specifically and practically do for our enemies? How can we show love to them instead? We know that those who persecute us, Jesus said that we're to do good to them instead. Actually, we're to rejoice when they persecute us. We know that we're supposed to share the hope that is within us. 1 Peter 3:15. That is, we have a platform where we do good to those who persecute us, who maybe even harm us, who make us suffer for righteousness' sake. But Jesus even said this, found in Matthew 5:43 to start. You've heard that it was said, you shall love your enemy, and you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies, and listen here, and pray for those who persecute you. He also said in Luke as well, but I say to you who hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who abuse you. So I want to encourage you, instead of, Romans chapter 12, instead of taking revenge and avenging ourselves when people do harm us, when they persecute us, when they just say bad things to us because we are Christians, we're not to take revenge. Instead, what I want to encourage you to do is actually pray for them. Because praying for them, first of all, involves God in the situation. I mean, we're asking for their salvation. We're asking God to help us out in the situation. But we're also, when we pray for our enemies, our heart goes out towards the enemies. It changes our emotions towards those who do wrong to us, to those who hate us, to those who persecute us. And as we pray for those who persecute us, who are our enemies, and something good happens to them, then we feel within our heart joy. But if we're not praying for those who are our enemies, when something good happens to them, we may feel like, God, why did you allow something good to happen to them? Do you know what they did to me? When we pray for those who harm us and something bad happens to us, it happens to them rather, we feel bad about the situation because, again, our emotions change towards that person when we pray for them. So I'm going to encourage you, think personally about somebody who may be persecuting you, may have persecuted you in the past you've not yet fully forgiven. And take the time every single day to pray for that person. Pray good for that person. And you may have not reached out to that person for a very long time, so I would encourage you, after a time of just praying for them and praying for them and praying for them, reach out to them. Ask them how they're doing. And that will show that you truly love your enemies. Well, thank you for joining me.